This is the TSG Multimedia Podcast for November of 2023. We're sponsored this month by Podomatic and the TSG Train Crew on Patreon. Thank you very much. I'm your host, John, coming to you from the TSG Multimedia Intergalactic Headquarters on this, the longest-running train-related podcast in the galaxy. We've been coming to you every single month since January of 2010. Now, math isn't my strong suit, but I believe that's more than 165 months if you count today's show. Strangely, October has been a very busy month for the past several years, and this past month was no exception, with op sessions, open houses, layout tour shoots, a live steam up, chasing trains, and a lot more. So let's just get straight to the updates right now. Hi, we're doing something railroad related today. It's a fun thing, but it's also kind of a sad thing. This is the final ever op session at the Fern Creek and Western. As you know, if you've been following, the owner of the property here went to the Great Caboose in the Sky a couple months ago. I think it was in June. And so this layout's going to be completely gone before too long. And this is our last chance to operate the layout as an op session. So that's what we're doing today. Should be a lot of fun. It's kind of a bittersweet thing, knowing that it's the last one, because they've got it to the point where it's a really good operating scheme and it's a lot of fun. But, you know, as things go, only for so long. And so that's today's activity. I'll probably come back with some updates during the day. And this is what we're doing. What are you doing there?
Cutting out the location labels.
Yep.
It's part of the work.
What's your thought process, Seth, as you're getting things set up here?
Well, I'm trying to take care of my first-class trains first, which are my passengers' trains. And happily, Trevor has set it up so they run first, so it's fairly easy to work it out in advance. So what we have is an eastbound and a westbound, and normally I'd have met them in the middle of the railroad, but the eastbound has a little bit of work before he starts here in Parkston. So we'll hold the meet a little bit closer to Parkston at Hill Siding, and that'll allow him to get his work done without holding up the westbound too much. So, you know, it's essentially the old, if two trains start from either end, but one starts a half hour late, where are they going to meet? It's the word problem y'all hated. But that's what dispatching's just about.
So the op session is fully underway now. Most of the people who are here to operate have trains. I requested a specific train, so I'm waiting for it to become available. Looking forward to it. I thought since it's the last op session that I'd like to do something that I really want to do. And it's weird to think that this is the last op session here. It's only the third op session. And, you know, the layout's in really tip-top operations-friendly condition the way it is right now. So it's just kind of a strange moment to think about all of this stuff being gone sometime in the not-too-distant future. I got the job that I've been waiting for. It's the Mountain Charlie job is what it's called. And it's the one that I worked last time. You might recall I was here a few months ago, and Peter Savoy was helping me with this job. And we got to Mountain Charlie and really botched the whole switching thing because I didn't realize that we could use the main. So we were trying to switch stuff around only using the siding, and it just really wasn't working. So this time, I'm going to flag the main so that people who might need to come through will know someone's working the area. in case you're wondering what that means. So I'm going to use the main to build the train of the stuff that I'm picking up before I do my setouts. So it should be good. It should be fun. And it's one of those things that whenever I have a chance to do something and I do it the first time, I learn something to apply the second time. This is that second time. So. Yeah, I think one of the last times we were here, we ran into this guy sitting next to me. This is Peter, who was doing something kind of weird here I've never seen before. So why don't you explain to the people what you're doing and why you're doing it?
Yeah, so today I brought out my 3D scanner. This is new to me. It's one of these emerging technologies that everybody's talking about. And as the saying goes, if you have a hammer, everything becomes a nail. So I wanted to see if I could really take this technology and adapt it to something that I don't think anybody's used it for before. In this case, we're at the Fern Creek and Western, and we know that the layout's coming out sometime soon. And so really they were looking for a way to catalog the layout before it disappeared. And so what I'm doing is I'm actually taking my scanner and going over and scanning the right-of-way. So hopefully sometime in the future, we can digitally recreate the entire layout the way that it is.
There you can take off all the rest of that shit.
That's pretty cool.
Take whatever of that list.
Interesting use of technology.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting outside minding my own business, and Trevor says, "Hey, you have to do another job." So I said, I'm only going to do it if I can do it with Paul, because that way, if anything goes wrong, I can blame you.
Well, you are the lead locomotive, so, you know.
Only to the top. Once we get up there, it's you.
Okay, then it's okay. All right, I'll take over at the top. Well, that's a bet. This is our first train we've ran together. So.
Isn't it funny? I've known this guy. We've been coming here for years and years and years, and we've never run a train together. So this is the first time ever.
This is going to go really good.
I feel really honored.
I feel honored too, John. Thank you for this opportunity.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
It's so wonderful.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, really, thank you so much.
Okay.
No, really.
Okay.
Really. So here's something interesting. I'm at a place on the railroad called Mountain Charlie, where we had this meet, and the meet is with the tank train, obviously. But if you look, you can see that the train I'm operating right now is pretty long. So what's going to happen is the tank train is going to pick up its caboose and then clear that switch. And then the helper that helped bring that train up here is going to back down the mountain. Then I'll be able to go.
This is Mountain Charlie.
But this is one of those things, you know, interacting with the other trains, basically role-playing an operating railroad. And this is one of the things that we like doing when it comes to operations. It's pretty fun.
Hey, so I'm here trying to get John's act together. It's a big job, but some of us have to do it. Anyway, I think he actually interviewed me earlier, but just in case, I spent the day working the yard over on the other side of the layout, and now it's getting too warm for me, so I'm kind of taking it easy. It was a great time here at the Fern Creek and Western. Even John had to do work, so that was good. And Sydney was delightful as always.
Because I never work, right?
No, there's that.
Yeah, I don't work at all. Putting out all this content is no work at all.
That's right. Yeah. He's gonna start belaboring the point about how hard it is to edit and all that kind of stuff.
All that time-consuming stuff, trying to edit people, trying to talk.
Yeah. Whereas ad-libbing stuff like that, that's sheer talent.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
What is this amazing, stylish cap you're wearing?
Look at this. This is the real new TSG train crew hat. Everybody needs one. Actually, I was telling John he needs to make straw hats with the TSG logo on them.
Straw hats.
Yes, straw hats.
Why straw hats?
Because for sunny days like this, it would be wonderful.
Oh, because they're not quite as hot, are
Well,
they?
they wider brim, and they get some airflow through them. So think about it. More TSG merchandise. And more TSG wine glasses, by the way.
What you're about to witness is the last revenue train over this amazing bridge on this iteration of the Fern Creek and Western. Hi, so this will be a trivia question in a future episode of Jeopardy! That is, who operated the last revenue train across the entire Fern Creek and Western? You're looking at him. Thanks, Trevor. So as we watch the final revenue train in an operating session on the Fern Creek and Western end its run, I'm thinking about all the work that has gone into making this an operations-based railroad, and thinking that it's really sad that it's going to be gone soon, but also thinking that I'm really glad it happened. Don't have too much time to think, though, because we'll be back here in a couple days for the last ever open house. Hi, we're doing something today. We're at the Fern Creek and Western. As I mentioned last time I was on, we were going to be back here for their open house. And that's today, the last ever open house here at the Fern Creek and Western. So that means we're going to be running trains around in circles all day. It's still fun, but more importantly, they need help keeping the trains running, so we're here to help. So we'll have fun and try to enjoy the last day open house ever. What happened there, Paul?
Well, we had an accident due to poor track conditions because it's, Trevor hasn't been taking care of the track, so we derailed. And, now we're going to have to do a crash report, insurance report, call the NTSB.
P-test?
P-test, all
everything.
9 yards. Hopefully I can keep my job, but
Yeah.
This is serious.
This is a good one, too. Look at that.
This is after the improvements.
This is after the improvements?
Full speed.
Well, it worked that time.
Presto.
Maybe you'll get to keep your job after all.
Maybe.
I've been summoned to the back, apparently. What did you do?
Derailed.
Again? Uh-oh. Maybe you won't get to keep your job.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Hell yeah. going down south to Santa Maria Ranch. Oh, it's being rebuilt there.
Hi, this is one of those times when you don't know who you're going to run into. I kind of knew I was going to run into him because he said he was coming. This is Garrett Franklin from Railtown 1897 State Park. Welcome.
Glad to be here, John. I've always wanted to take a look at Fern Creek and Western. I've seen all your videos on it, just never got a chance, but I figured today, being the last open house, would be a perfect opportunity to come and see what great work Trevor and everybody else has done in the railroad.
Right? What's happening up at Railtown that's exciting?
Well, we're finishing up our Halloween train, Skeleton Starlight, every Saturday night, and we're going into the Polar Express season. So that's our big event of the year, and we're excited to be able to host it with California State Parks.
Yeah, so that's at Railtown 1897 in Jamestown, California. Polar Express sounds exciting.
Yeah, you can always go to the website at www.railtown1897.org and check for tickets for our upcoming Polar Express trains every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night in November and December.
Sounds great. How can I order? Hi, it's just a minute later, and this is another example of you don't know who you're running into. This time I actually didn't know I was going to run into him. This is Alex Castro, who's a volunteer at the California State Railroad Museum. What's going on up at the CSRA these days in Sacramento Southern?
Well, a lot of things that's happening at the Sacramento Southern Railroad. Well, right now we have 2 restoration projects in the works. Right now we're in the process of getting the Granite Rock 10 back together. It is an 060T tank engine built in 1942, and we'll hopefully to get it ready by later this year, if not next year. And also, we also have the Sacramento Northern 402. It's an SW1 switcher built in 1939, which is the oldest diesel locomotive in our collection. We just finished the first truck on the 402, and now we're working on the second truck, which is a lot more work than we expected, but we'll hopefully head out. It's a beautiful SW switcher, and we cannot wait to see that and the Granite Rock 10 back in working order. And we just sold out on all the tickets on the Polar Express, and now we're in the process of rounding up the volunteers for Polar Express. It's a really great railroad. If you want to volunteer, we are always looking for volunteers, not just for Polar Express, but also the Sacramento Southern Railroad. You can also go for information at www.cssrmf.org. That's the California State Railroad Museum Foundation. And we will have, basically the department heads. We'll get you to the right people. It's a great place to volunteer, so we hope to see you there.
I want to make sure we have the website correct, because I'm going to put it in writing down here. It's csrm.org. rm.org. And is there a slash or anything like that, or just CS? /foundation. /foundation. Okay. I'll put that on the screen right here.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Thanks, Alex. Well, it was nice. It was nice seeing you here today.
Nice seeing you too, John. Happy to be here.
Yeah, we can tell who the crew put in the cab. Oh, they're training. Right.
Wow, that looks like a choo-choo to me.
What is this?
What is this, Gary?
What is it, Gary? Is that a live steamer?
Oh, yeah, the side gun.
Oh, it is a live steamer.
Sure enough. That can be fixed.
Is that yours now, Paul?
I don't know.
It got banged up.
Well, at least something's getting banged.
Well, okay, you take this.
Okay.
Because I'll get the tender.
Okay.
You know, that's all going to be packed up and stored away. You can store this away because I'll be gone by the time you find a new place to put everything else out. I'll be down shoveling coal in the number 9 furnace.
Why don't we put you in there too? We'll shovel you in there too.
Yeah. Might as well.
Yeah.
So
sand the flues with Gary's ashes.
Yeah, exactly.
Bye, Gary. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I'll get a little more. Everything might be okay.
Ding dong.
What is this?
It's a ding dong.
A ding dong?
It's a ding dong.
This is a ding dong.
Wigwag. Got it plugged in, Justin? No. Okay, wait.
Oh, the light's on.
Not high enough power to. It's not enough high enough power to energize.
We got a ding, but not a dong.
Oh. Plus, there's a loose contact.
Yeah, it's the end of the day now after the open house is closed, and we're just having a good time running some live stream, as you can hear behind me. Hot potato. We're having a great time. A lot of people came by thanks to the Santa Cruz Sentinel article, and I think Eric would have really enjoyed today. And yeah, I couldn't be happier right now. So.
You know what I mean? Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Very nice. That's worth about $50.
50. 50.
Yeah, perfect. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's a really big send-off, I think, for the railroad to have this kind of an open house be this well attended. There were hundreds of people here today, with no exaggeration on my part. It was full the entire day in the front yard and the backyard. We had trains running the whole day. I think that, I hope that Eric, who used to live here, would be really proud of the open house that we pulled off here. And these folks did a great job. I've always really enjoyed coming here, and it's really sad that this is going to be gone. We have one more event that's happening later this month that I'll be here probably covering again for another, certainly podcast segments, but another standalone show as well. That's going to be the final Steam Up. That's where a bunch of people are going to bring their live Steam F-scale equipment and run it here. That'll be the real send-off for the Fern Creek and Western. So that's it from the open house today, and I will catch you on whatever the next update is. I am coming to you from the Mystic Mountain Garden Railroad up here on the side of the mountain. This, I think, is the last operating session for this railroad this year. At least to my knowledge, it is. And thankfully, we were invited. Thank you very much, Ray, for inviting us to this. And we're going to have a great time operating with a really beautiful vista over the side of the mountain there. So here we go. If something interesting or ops related happens that I think you're interested in, I'll come back and let you know what it was. This is Providence Yard here. Once we have our train ready, we'll depart. And then, as I've shown you before on this layout, the instructions give us all the other information we need after that. So this is our friends Jim on the right and Seth on the left. And Seth, I don't think I've ever seen you do a conductor job before. You're always dispatching.
No dispatcher.
Right? As a matter of fact, the last time we saw Seth on this show was him dispatching at Fern Creek and Western.
No, 3.
So you can see he's a man of many talents. Jim is too. Jim's an underrated model railroader.
Jim's a really good yard guy.
He's a yard guy?
Yeah, most people look at Jim and don't think that's true, but it is.
What? Let me look at him and see. Yeah, you don't look like a yard guy to me either.
It's my inner personality.
This inner yard master screaming to get out.
Right?
Haven't you ever noticed shooing out of
Yes, there is screaming involved. Something about stay there. No.
No, I said don't come in the yard yet.
Get out of half a car. That'll do.
So here's an interesting problem that we're encountering. We have a facing point set out and a facing point pickup to do here in a place called Red River. You see that open gone down to the right? Well, we have to pick that up. Well, our locomotive's on the front of the train, and the gone in our train has to be set out there. So how are you supposed to do that if the train's behind you? You can't just push stuff. And even if you wanted to push this gone, you still have to set out the one that's in the train. So here's step one. We're going to take the locomotive and run it around the train so that it's positioned on the rear of that cut of cars back there. So with the runaround complete now, we can now use this cut of cars to do our set out and our pickup simply by pushing from this end.
Yeah, I'm thinking take the two dogs and
Pull them out. Oh, leave them out there or something.
yeah.
Just leave it there.
Whoops, we need a break. Our instructions have us returning to South Providence Yard, so we're making a final move to put the caboose back on the rear of the train before we run the engine around to have it on the front of the train. So it's a lot of switching around, and that's part of what makes all this fun. Uh-oh. And you just witnessed why the engineer should not be playing with his phone while he's pushing the train around. This was the last op session of the season for Ray, and as usual, it was a great time. The jobs were fun, and it's just really always a pleasure to go operate at Ray's Mystic Mountain. And so big thanks go out to Ray and, of course, to Murph and Jim also for lunch. We all had a wonderful time. And as I've said many times in the past, that these op sessions really are an excuse to hang out. And this was no exception. And we had a really wonderful time. So thanks to everybody. And I'll be on with another update when it's appropriate. Hi, it's me and Trevor. And we're here at the TSG Intergalactic Headquarters. Today is a really important milestone for a project that we've been working on. Well, really, we've been working on it because I'm working on the videos of the project too.
And you painted it.
And I painted it.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the garden scale or F scale Climax locomotive that we're going to sort of put the finishing touches of detail stuff and more importantly, make it run. Because when we got it all put together last time, it kind of ran, but not really, because it has these amazingly durable and wonderful Bachmann parts, original parts from, early 2000s when it was made, that are notorious for not working for very long. And he's gonna get it running today. And it marks really the end of a very long project that's been ongoing on my hard drive on my computer for, well, 6 or 8 months now, a long time. We'll just put it that way. And for those of you who know me, that means you. You know how anxious I get about having unfinished stuff on my hard drive. So it's a huge relief. We're finally going to get to wrap up the how to install the Blue NAMI decoder and fix up the Climax. And also, in a couple of days, we're going to take this Climax to the Fern Creek and Western for the really actually official last thing ever at the Fern Creek and Western, which is the steam up. And we'll do our, run by footage of this locomotive running. Are you excited as excited as I am?
I'm excited. I'm excited to see it done.
Yeah.
It'll be neat to see it romping up and down the log branch, and
that'll be really neat.
And it will be really neat. And it also will just be cool to see a Blue NAMI decoder on an engine in action, like in a practical use. Because I've only just used the app, running it back and forth on the table for testing, and actually seeing it in practical use and getting to do some switching with it. And, it'll be cool. I'm looking forward to seeing it all together, and I think it'll be a nice way to cap off the project with a run on the Garden Railroad right before it goes away.
Right. So we're not going to talk to you anymore. We're going to get started on this, and I'll be back later. All right. So this is a little bit later on, and the work on the Climax went really well. It was a little touch and go there for a minute. I wasn't sure that we were going to get it running, but Trevor, who's really good at working on that kind of model, pulled some magic out of his hat, and he got it working. So that'll give us a chance to do the test run at the Fern Creek and Western the day after tomorrow, when we're having the truly final event. It's a private event called the annual Steam Up. And I'm going to have the locomotive there and hopefully do some test running out on the logging branch at Fern Creek and Western, which really, when I got that locomotive, was the dream that I had, was to run it at the Fern Creek and Western. And I think we're going to be able to do that. So I'm excited about that. And the reason it took me so long to come on here tonight is the second Trevor left, I had to go on my computer for this month's episode of TSG Live Talking Trains, which happened to be a really good episode. I had a guest co-host in Heath from Humanity Junction. I think most of the viewers of my channel know who he is. And we had our mutual friend, Seth Newman, come on and talk about, first, technology in model railroading, and secondly, ops, which, as you know, I'm very much into these days. And it turns out that Heath is now getting into operations, and Seth has been in operations for a long time. It was a really great show, and if you missed it, you should definitely check that out on the replay, because we had a great conversation. So anyway, that's it. I am pretty much toast. I'm really tired now, and I'm just going to try to relax for the rest of the evening because I have quite a bit of work ahead of me in the coming weeks, now that a bunch of these projects are starting to get wrapped up. And that includes the one about the Garden Scale Climax. That's a project I've had going on for really since early this year. And it's going to be 3 or maybe 4 episodes of how to install Blue NAMI into one of these engines. Well, today was the final day of the getting it installed and running portion of that series. And I'll know more once I do the test ops on Friday, whether it's going to be a 4-part series or a 3-part series. So lots of stuff to edit, lots of decisions to make, and I just want to go to sleep. So I'll catch you later on the next update here. Hi, so this is the long dreaded last thing on the Fern Creek and Western happening today. We've driven down to Santa Cruz, and we're going to do a whole bunch of pickup shots for the ultimate layout tour And then there's something called the live steam up happening today that we're going to cover. And I'm hoping to make a video out of that as well by asking the people that brought their engines to talk about what they brought, and also if they're in the mood to talk about coming to the Fern Creek and Western to run them over the past few years, and if that meant anything special to them. And if it didn't, we'll just kick them out. So this is something that I've been wanting to do since we started the project. This is the first time I'm going to run the Garden Scale Climax on the Fern Creek and Western. And this was really the goal when I got this locomotive. So it's particularly meaningful. I mean, as much as running a toy train can be, this is why I got this and why I wanted to do the Blue Nami and battery conversion in it in the first place. So I'm going to take the train that we have here and run it out front, because the train that I have connected to my Climax is the one that we need in front to do one of our pickup shots. So here we go. All right, so I got a little bit of running in here, and we're going to run it some more later for the install video, or series, I should say. But it runs really well, and it looks good too. All the extra detail that Trevor put on it really makes a big difference. So that's it for now, and I'll be back with more podcast updates later. Okay, so this is a little while later, and we're still working on our pickup shots, but we're getting very close to being done with the pickup shots, and pretty soon people are going to be arriving for the live steam up, and so we're just working away. I'm really excited about finishing the shooting for the layout tour so that I can get working on it, but I'm also kind of bummed out because it's the last event here, at least where anybody is going to really be here without taking stuff apart. Okay, so we just finished all of our pickup shots, and people have started to arrive for the steam up, and I have to change gears now and switch into steam up mode, which is a completely different kind of video from the pickup shots. And the only other thing I need to do is take some video of my newly finished Climax that we finished just the day before yesterday, working on the log branch here, which was, like I said earlier, really what I wanted to have it available for. So, mission almost complete. This is the end of the live steam up, the end of the day for me. I'm really tired. You can probably tell. I'm under harsh lights too. That doesn't help, but I am actually very tired. Trevor, this was, well, you just said it a minute ago, the perfect swan song.
Yeah.
Perfect end, sending off of the railroad. And I was just mentioning to Nick a little while ago that, yes, it sucks that it's over, but I'm really glad that it happened at all.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people And really, if you think about it, Eric that made all this happen. I mean, you made it happen too, obviously, but if he had said no to you, it never would have
never happened. Yeah.
So we have to thank Eric for letting Trevor destroy his house.
Yeah.
Destroy the yard, build whatever he wanted, and really create a cool social environment for everybody to come and have fun over the years.
I think Paul actually was the one that said it was Santa Cruz's Railroad Club that never existed.
Yeah, come over here and talk about
the Accidental Model Railroad Club.
That is actually something.
Bring Paul in here.
Sure.
What did he say?
Yeah, Trevor was mentioning the Accidental Railroad Club, which is pretty much what happened. Trevor, Eric, and I, when, in the early days of the railroad, were just kind of building it for ourselves and our own enjoyment. And we soon realized that everyone else wanted to come play trains too.
Yeah.
And it kind of became a big social thing, and we all became a lot closer, and we got to know John better. And
sorry about that.
No, you can apologize off camera. And got a lot closer with a whole bunch of people here, and we sort of built like a little, community in our area of Santa Cruz.
And all
here.
the neat equipment that showed up here over the years too. Not only the people, just like stuff we never thought we'd get to see or run or anything like that.
If you follow the social pages, I'm sure Trevor and I and anyone else involved with the FCW will post their projects, their modeling projects. So
it's not going away, and the projects involved with continuing to build the equipment and structures, that doesn't go away.
We're going to get a head start for the next one.
Exactly.
You heard it here first. Hi, it's kind of early on October 28th. That's our top secret producer's birthday. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
We're going to go chasing trains today. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be up right now. It's barely not dark outside. So, anyway, we'll be back with some updates during the day, and I'll see you then. Part of our trip today is we came to pick up our friend Jim, because he's going to do some foaming with us. Hi, Jim. Say hi to the podcast. You've been on the podcast before.
I have, and I'm looking forward to being here again. Do I get an increase in salary?
Yeah, you get a donut today. But what I came on to talk about is Jim recently had his first test op session in his layout, which is where we're standing right now. And I'm going to show you something that I find to be really, really attractive about this layout. Check out the width of these aisles. This is something that everyone who's building a layout should learn from. Have wide aisles, because you got to have enough space for all of your operators. And I'm going to say Jim has enough space for all of his operators.
And I have to throw something on the side here. I don't need to be on video for this, but it only took me 2 layouts to remember that you needed wide aisles. And I had to add 8 feet onto the room. So,
but that, though, Jim, is part of the considerations that people. I'm glad you said that, because if someone's building a layout, they can learn from your mistake that you've already had to make twice, or whatever the case. And I'm going to
put the human factor in, and this is the BNSF pink lady, in case you're curious.
Yeah. At some point, when it's a little bit more finished, I'm sure we'll come do a layout. Well, I hope we'll
next
come do
week.
Right? Yeah, hope we'll come do a layout tour here, because it's a really interesting track plan, and it's a really cool room. And I'm just digging the lights in here. There are so many lights. Look at the lights, the lighting, right? So I'm not even sure we'll have to bring extra lights for this one. So as part of our chasing trains today, we came to the Carquinez Model Railroad Society, and I've done layout tours of both of these places in the background here, CMRS and Setout. And I may do a little podcast update inside here too, because they've been doing all kinds of stuff in the building. And I think the layout has new stuff on it too. So let's go on in and take a look. So it was really great getting a new tour of the updated CMRS layout. They're having a open house in December. I believe it's like the 9th and 10th or something like that. It's a Saturday and Sunday. Look on your calendar and you can figure it out. In December. And boy, there's a whole lot of stuff here that's been updated and fixed up and added, and some's been redone. There's a lot of stuff. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but needless to say, Liam gave Cliff a first-class tour, whirlwind tour of this place, and we need to get back out into the real world and chase some trains. So we're going to leave from here, but do yourself a favor. If you come to the open house in December, there's also another club, I guess you'd call it, upstairs called the Setout. It's the California Toy Train Operators Museum or Operating Museum, CTTOM. You can catch layout tour videos of both of these layouts, the CMRS, which is kind of downstairs, if you will, in the building, and then the Setout, which is upstairs in the building, right here on the channel. So we'll be back later with some updates about the chasing trains. Hi, so we've come out to a place called Martinez, and I've actually been using the drone to catch some shots here. And I got a really nice shot already of I think it was a Capital Corridor train that made a station stop here. So I got the aerial shot of it arriving and taking off. And so this is, part of chasing trains, though. We don't know what we're going to see until it's here, but we do know where we're going. And that's about it. Everything else is like fishing, right? Either you catch something or you don't. But in the end, the important part is that you're hanging out with your friends. That's what it's really about. It's at the end of our train chasing today, and I think we only saw about 4 or 5 trains, but as always, it was a great time because we got to hang out with our buddies and, see people we haven't seen for a while. And that's really what it's all about. It's really all it's ever about. Is this trade stuff is a great excuse to hang out with your friends. And it's especially good when it's people that actually want to be there. So that's it for now. Signing off. Hi, I did something that was model railroad related today. I met with these guys on the screen here, and this is kind of a pre-meeting for the Talking Trains show that we're going to be having on November 15th, which is my birthday. So Tony, why don't you introduce yourself, and we'll go around the horn here so people know what they have to look forward to.
Thanks a lot, John. I'm Tony Cook. I'm the editor of Model Railroad News, the managing editor of Diesel Era magazine, and editor of HO Collector for White River Productions. And I'm excited to talk about podcasting and how the hobby is today.
And I'm Ray Arnott. I'm from Around the Layout podcast and excited to see everybody on TSG Multimedia and share the stories of our podcasts.
And I'm Thomas Geiser. I'm the referee of the Twin Cities Division Crossing Gate podcast. And make sure you watch because Tony Cook will be here and he'll be reviewing the latest gruesome casket kit for us.
That's going to be on November 15th right here on the channel. So please join us. It's going to be a great talk. I'm really looking forward to it, guys, and had a great time talking with you this afternoon. Now, before we get to the catch of the month, I want to take a second to let you know that the South Bay Historical Railroad Society is having their fall open house event today and tomorrow. I always talk about this event because it's one of the best railroad-related events in the Bay Area, and it's very family-friendly. The open house is from 10 till 5 today, and will also be open tomorrow from 10 until 4. Go to sbhrs.org to find out more details. Also, next weekend, my other favorite local club layout, Silicon Valley Lines, is having their open house. SVL is a lot of fun because it's a large layout that was designed for operations. Go to siliconvalleylines.com to learn more, and consider joining if you'd like to be a part of a great group of folks who run op sessions every month. The last event I want to make you aware of is the Rocky Mountain Train Show. We covered the spring version of this event last year. Well, they also put on a holiday version every November. This time, it's on the 25th and 26th at the Ranch Events Complex in Loveland, Colorado. You can get more information from RockyMountainTrainShow.com. The catch of the month comes from John Crisanti. It's a southbound BNSF intermodal train climbing up the grade through Sedalia, Colorado on June 26th of 2020. Thanks for sharing, John. If you have train or monthly model catches you'd like to share, please email them to podcast@tsgmultimedia.com. Be sure you own the shots and let me know the whats, whens, and wheres of the shots you send in. Did you know there's a Fans of Talking Trains page on Facebook? It's where people can share their projects and other activities. You can find it using the link in the description of this video or simply by searching for it on Facebook. I hope you'll join our community and share your stories with us. A huge thanks goes out to the TSG train crew again this month for helping us create the content you enjoy here. If you can spare a few bucks a month, I'd like to ask you to add your support by joining the TSG train crew today. In return, you get early access to all the major features that come out on the channel, like layout tours. These sneak peeks are presented ad-free in ultra-high definition 4K. A few bucks probably doesn't sound like much, but it helps us a lot. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.